You know, when you think about the moon, it's hard not to get a little starry-eyed. I mean, it's this giant glowing orb hanging in the night sky, always there, watching over us. It's a symbol of dreams, romance, and, let's be honest, a little bit of mystery. But have you ever stopped to wonder, just how long does it actually take to fly to the moon? I know, it sounds like a question straight out of a science fiction movie, but stick with me here because it's a fascinating topic that combines a bit of history, science, and a sprinkle of human ambition. So, let's break it down. The moon is about 238,855 miles away from Earth. That's roughly the distance from New York City to Los Angeles. But instead of a long road trip, we're talking about a journey through space. Now, if you're imagining hopping in a car and cruising down the highway, that's not quite how it works. Space travel is a whole different ballgame. When we talk about flying to the moon, we often think of the Apollo missions. Remember Apollo 11? That was the mission that landed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the lunar surface in 1969. It took them about 76 hours to get there. That's just over 3 days. Can you believe it? 3 days of floating in space, surrounded by nothing but the vastness of the universe. I can only imagine the mix of excitement and anxiety those astronauts must have felt, knowing they were on their way to make history. Now let's put that into perspective. If you were to hop on a commercial jetliner, cruising at about 500 miles per hour, it would take you around 13 hours to reach the moon. That's a long flight. You'd definitely want to pack some snacks and maybe download a few movies to keep yourself entertained. But here's the kicker. We don't have commercial flights to the moon. Yet. Space travel is still a bit of a niche market, reserved for astronauts and the occasional billionaire looking to take a joyride. But it's not just about the time it takes to get there. The journey to the moon is filled with incredible challenges. There's the vacuum of space, radiation, and the fact that you're essentially hurtling through the cosmos at breakneck speeds. The Apollo spacecraft was designed to handle these challenges, and it was equipped with all sorts of technology that was cutting edge for its time. Just think about it. The computers they used were far less powerful than the smartphones we carry in our pockets today. It's a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Now, if we fast forward to today, there's a new wave of interest in lunar exploration. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are working on making space travel more accessible. Elon Musk has plans for missions to Mars, but let's not forget about the moon. NASA's Artemis program is set to return humans to the lunar surface, with the goal of landing the first woman and the next man on the moon by the mid-2020s. They're aiming for a lunar base that could serve as a stepping stone for future missions to Mars. How cool is that? But back to the moon. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to actually walk on the lunar surface? The gravity there is only about 1/6 of what we experience on Earth. That means you'd be bouncing around like a kid on a trampoline. Imagine the Instagram photos you could take, leaping majestically against the backdrop of Earth hanging in the sky. It would be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for sure. And let's not forget the views. The moon doesn't have an atmosphere like Earth, so the sky is pitch black, and the stars are incredibly bright. You'd be able to see the Earth from up there, a beautiful blue marble floating in the void of space. It's moments like that that remind us of how small we are in the grand scheme of things. It's humbling, isn't it? But it's not all fun and games. The moon is a harsh environment. Temperatures can swing from extremely hot to bone-chilling cold. And there's no breathable air, which means you'd need to rely on life support systems to survive. It's a reminder of how precious our planet is and how much we take for granted. Now, let's circle back to the question of time. If we were to develop faster spacecraft, who knows how quickly we could make the journey? Some scientists are working on concepts that could potentially cut the travel time to the moon down to just a few hours. Imagine that. An afternoon trip to the moon for a little sightseeing. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, but with the pace of technological advancement, it's not entirely out of reach. So, how long does it take to fly to the moon? Historically, it's taken about 3 days, but in the future, we could be looking at hours. As we continue to push the boundaries of space exploration, the moon could become a destination for more than just astronauts. It could be a place for research, tourism, and maybe even a new home for humanity. The moon has always inspired us to dream big, to reach for the stars. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all have the chance to visit it ourselves. Until then, let's keep looking up at that beautiful moon and imagining the possibilities that lie beyond.